Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the God. We are the Breakfast Club. We got a special guest in the building.
Hey.
Big KRIT.
Big KRIT. What's
Welcome
happening,
back.
man?
New album out right now.
Yes, sir. KRIT is
KRIT
here,
is
man.
here.
Yo.
KRIT is here.
Yo.
Now, when you make an album, you put it out. What do you hope to accomplish?
Man, that's the hardest part, I think, is putting it out. I mean, because at the end of the day, I remember when I first started making music, I just wanted people to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
So actually getting to that point where you finalize it, you got the rollout, your team, everybody's behind the music, and you put it out, like, that's when everything else is like just blessings. Yeah. Because I went from people didn't even think that I was gonna sell, then it sold. Mm-hmm. So at this point, it's like, man, as long as we can get the project out and I know that it's gonna be jamming, then that's the beginning of it all.
Now, you play for the team you own. You're totally independent.
Multi-alumni, man. Believe that, though.
Now, can you feel the difference of before when you were on Def Jam and you had that machine behind you, or?
Man, I was on Times Square with this album. I ain't never been on Times Square before.
Is that your first indie project, though, right?
No, I did Forever's a Mighty Long Time. I mean, 2 years ago. Yeah, the second one. But this one is totally different because that was our first time like really going out there.
Figuring it out.
Yeah, figuring it out. You know what I'm saying? We still distro through BMG, but this time it was like, oh, no, we had it figured out. And then shout out to my team, my manager Dutch, and then Steve-O Marketing, and like all those components and being able to build the way we off the last album up until now. Now it's like, nah, we got Times Square. Like, I'm a country boy, and that's something I would thought I would have got on the label. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know y'all remember you said, like, bro, you ain't got nobody in from the label. When the K.R.I.T came out, we still moving as a unit though. We good. Tripping.
I wonder about the risk of going independent and starting your own label, because I feel like you got 2 records on here.
Okay.
That could go at radio.
Which two you thinking?
Addiction.
Addiction is dope.
Okay.
And Obvious.
Yes.
Obvious, Regal Love.
Yes.
But who's gonna push it? Do you have to pay for your independent?
Yeah, you gotta pay for it.
We gonna push it.
Okay.
We
That's
gonna
called
go.
investment.
And I feel like you also kind of have it figured out because you've been in this game for a minute. You've had a team that's strong. And I think when you have a strong team, you always can go independent. I think that's the main thing for artists when they sign to a label. They need somebody that can handle
no doubt
all of that, all of the.
Well, who gonna get them records going at radio?
I mean, we moving right now, man. You know, just believe it though. But on top of that, I'm like hand to hand. Like I really pull up to the radio station, like old school flow, like chop it up with these DJs, and even moving around. Like I've had relationships over years of like we always show up, and then we tour, and like that's been a big part of like my career. And so now we ready, we prepared for this.
And the streaming services helps too.
What's in? Oh yeah, definitely to the maximum. Oh yeah,
it's not just radio anymore. Now you got to make sure you get those streaming numbers.
That's all radio does. All we do is react to what's going on on the internet. Because I posted your album on the gram yesterday, and people immediately got on me and said, "Why you don't play KRIT on the radio? Like, do you even care? Do you even care about radio?"
Man, I want my music played everywhere. Like, nah, forget that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was people were real comfortable leaving me underground. Open that hatch, y'all.
Now let's talk about money. Now,
let's talk about money.
now, when it comes to the money, have you seen more money independently from royalties and publishing? Absolutely. So you see those checks are coming back.
I mean, definitely. It's a big change when you actually you captain of the ship, you moving it yourself. Me, I've always one of those people. I'm putting my money back into my company though. So you might not see me wearing it all the time, but nah, man, I'm putting it right back, investing in the multis, the brand, because it's really a multimedia company. It's not just musicians. It's gonna be art. I sign a muralist if they write with it, a dance crew. Like it's anybody that's creative and playing more in one position in their career.
Now let's talk about these guest appearances because some of them are very unlikely, right?
Okay.
And so you have Saweetie and Lil Wayne together on the first single.
Yeah.
So tell me how that even came about.
Well, shout out to Wayne, man, because I obviously the OG and the legend, and I think it's one of those situations where my manager Dutch was in the right place at the right time and being able to link with his manager. And then going from that, being able to actually get the feature. I mean, the way people are moving now, thank God we do have, like, you know, internet, and you can send somebody the record and they can knock it out real quick. So Wayne sent me an A+ verse real quick, you know. Rico Love was in the studio with Sweetie at the time, and, you know, Rico co-executive produced the album with my manager. And so he was able to get Sweetie on the record while she was in the midst of working on her stuff. And then now you got this form like Voltron kind of record. Because I ended up doing a song in L.A. like I think the end of this year. And so we were sitting on it, but there were certain components that I knew that we might have needed to take it to the next level. Sonically, I really decided to just challenge myself this album. I only produced one record on the album, which is new for me. Y'all know
that must have been hard for you.
Man, what? I'm trying to produce all of
everything.
It, you know? I'm gonna do one song, man.
I got your
Why'd
numbers
you do
here.
that?
It says that you have produced 71.1% of all your records.
Yes. And
70.8% of them you produced alone.
Hey, let's go.
What made you choose to do that on this?
Getting out of my comfort zone. It was important. I literally was on stage. Rico Love has a music conference he does every year. I was on stage. It was me.
Amber, you've done that a couple of times.
Yeah. It was me, him, and Mace on stage, right? And in front of 500 people, Rico challenged me like, "Hey, man, I feel like you're doing your supporters a disservice by not trying to make bigger music because they know where you're supposed to be. But he felt like you're just in your comfort zone, in your pocket, and you just stand there. And at that point, he was like, man, look, let me come in, let me help work on the album. You know what I'm saying? And from there, it was on and popping. Like I was up for the challenge.
I wanted to ask you about why'd you got Rico to executive produce your album, but did you do that because you want to like craft, I guess, radio records?
I wanted to make bigger records for myself. Whether it's not even really about radio, but it's what we call it now is high-end country shit. Right? You know what I'm saying? People like, it's just the prestige and being Southern, you know what I'm saying? And like throwing that glow and that gloss on it now.
Like when T.I. did Whatever You Like or something like that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like you just adding that prestige to it, man. And so when it came to working with Rico, I got in the studio with producing the OG Danger. I got in with DJ Camper, Wallace Lane, Khalil, man, I don't want to forget nobody's name, Music Major, Wolf the Michaels produced 3 records on the album, Tay Beast. Like just kind of mixing it up completely across the board. Because sonically, these people know my sound, but they're going to give me something I wouldn't have made for myself.
Right.
Gotcha. And they drum patterns different. Everything sonically is going to be different.
Was it more difficult to write to that or no?
Man, what it was is they were going to challenge me if I wrote something and they felt like it wasn't snapping enough. They're like, hey, bro, nah. Especially being in there with Rico, like, hey, man, you might have to, you just completed the song. It's like, man, maybe you should have attacked this a little different. Like the components are there, musically is there, the hook is there, but your verses seem like you still comfortable. And then I don't care if I'm gonna sit in there, everybody else sleepy about ready to go. I'm writing,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say you and Yella Beezy also work together. That song sounds good. Yeah,
man. But he country too. You know what I'm saying? But he from Dallas and he a young artist. And like for me, I had to get out of my comfort zone and start working with a lot of the youth too. Like I work with my OGs and they know that.
That was like a surprise appearance.
Yeah, and then the homie got his own swag, his own way of doing
style,
things.
Everything, yeah.
And and so it made perfect sense.
Does making those big records or attempting to make those big records, does it mess up your creativity? Because you still got your core KRIT base that want to hear certain things.
Nah, not really, because we had Pay Attention. You know what I'm saying? We had the Pay Attention record on Cadillac. We had 1999 with with Lloyd. And so it's like, people have already heard me. And I had What You Mean You Ain't Nasty with Luda. So I'd already been making these bigger kind of records that would fit on radio. It's just not having that initial support by the label. So it's like they kind of go under the table musically. But now, again, with streaming, it don't matter. You let the people pick the record. And then that record sonically gonna have those frequencies, and then it's just gonna take off anyway.
Do you attack the playlist though? Because you talk about streaming so much. Do you go for a particular playlist? Because I know certain times you hit a playlist and you gonna sell gold just on that one playlist.
Yeah.
Is that how you make it as well?
Man, not necessarily. I mean, because this album is like how I attacked KRIT was here, right? It's like I know I can rap over every kind of beat sonically.
Right.
I know it don't matter what the tempo is. I can find the cadence and I'm gonna be my country self. And so when it came to the album, it's like, this might have more of an East Coast flow. This might feel more West Coast-ish. This might feel like the Bay or the Bounce. I'm going to be country on it. It's just about challenging myself to actually jump on those records and allow another producer to come in and be like, KRIT, I really want to hear you rap on that.
It's different to be country now, though. Country now is a global sound. Back in the day, country wasn't a global sound.
I think being Southern is a global sound. Being country.
Break it down. What's the difference?
I mean, Mississippi, and then being from Atlanta. Atlanta would be more considered Southern.
Yeah, but that's the global sound. Everybody tries to sound like a Atlanta artist nowadays.
Yeah, it's more, to me, it's more Southern. Country is like a totally different experience. That's when they be like, man, how it feels to see buildings. That's when they get asking you questions like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, but it's still it's just the idea of places in America people have never been before, and they automatically attach like, oh, that's that country.
You mean like the rural areas?
Rural.
Like that's where I'm from. I was raised on a dirt road in Mounts Corner, South Carolina.
Yeah, that's country.
Yeah.
It ain't so.
I get what you're saying. Now, why don't you and Cole just make an album?
Hey man, that's reaching out to the homie, man. I would be down to do that. But it's a lot of components that come with that too, because I know he got all the dream. It's like once you get to that point where you got your own brand, it take like you got to focus on them artists and everything to do to get that popping as well. Right. When you try to attach and do those big group albums, that takes a lot of time because everybody got their own mentality of how they want to sound on that album and what beats they want to rap off of, and a lot come with that.
And y'all did the record Prove It. Who are you talking to? I
mean, you gotta take care of yours, man.
Yeah,
like, I mean, the way society is now, man, somebody run down on you and take your life just like that. So it's the idea of actually being aware of what society is, man, and just want to come home with your family. Want to go home to your family at the end of the day. And I think Cole was able to really round it in a way where how people support us musically out in this world, kind of giving back to the supporters, and him talking about Felicia, which was his first fan.
That was phenomenal.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, there's people out here that's supporting us every day, whether we know it or not. When we in the studio trying to get the rhymes right, they out here like street team, because those things don't exist no more, telling people like, yo, you got to hear this song. This song got me through something. And I think that just gave it more of a round perspective.
Did you write that after Nipsey passed?
No, Prove It came before that.
Okay.
The second verse of Believe was after Nipsey passed.
Gotcha.
Originally, Nipsey was supposed to get on the record Believe. And then literally the day I'm playing the record for somebody, that happened. And I kind of fell back from social media and everything, because for me it's like, man, the realization that, man, you think like tomorrow is promised, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's all good, man, we're gonna make this happen, and then it's not. And then there's so much information that comes with a tragedy like that, and so I was just good on it. And I couldn't think of anybody else to put on the song, man, so I just finished it myself,
I saw you had a nice sit down with your father as well.
Yeah.
What made you decide to do that? Because it was nice to see that side of you. We know you always talk about your dad, rich dad, poor dad, and everything that he's done for you, which is nice to hear. Yeah. So what made you say, let's have this sit down and put it out there for everybody?
I mean, well, again, this goes back to my team. We have conversations about all the things I want to do, especially like the interactions I have with my father. So it's about bringing those things to life. I'm like not the person I always want to record my personal like experiences with my people, right? But it was like, this was the perfect time, because I know a lot of people might not have a real positive like relationship with their fathers, or their fathers might not be around at all, or they might have wanted to have a certain conversation with their father that they weren't able to. And so being able to sit down for 30 minutes and talk to my dad about the competitive nature he gave me and how it was great, and then it kind of went bad, and then I needed him to kind of help me fix that mentality, and talk about anxiety and depression and what he had to go through raising us in, and how we might have viewed him once he wasn't in the house, and what that meant, and working a job that he hated, and just being able to unload all that on camera. And this is his first time in LA too, so it's just all mind blowing. He see how we moving. I mean, it was amazing for me to just be able to chop it up with him on that scale, that stage.
What's your relationship with him?
Oh, that's my best friend. That's my best friend for real.
Are these conversations you guys had off camera before this, or was this the first time you really got that deep into it?
No, I mean, if we had the conversation, because I was going through it in the moment. There was a time where I really could have went hard because a certain song came out, and I had to call him like, Pops, I'm not really mad anymore. And he was like, man, well, what's wrong? He's like, man, hip hop makes you, I'm in a position where I could really go on some aggressive rap and freestyle stuff. But I was like, man, I'm not angry. He's like, well, don't do it. I was like, well, okay, but I mean, it's a part of the competitive nature. Like, you told me to compete on. He's like, man, I was like, man, just tell me I don't got to compete anymore. And then that's what I need to hear you say. And he just broke it down. Like, man, you ain't got to compete.
How do you break it down? What do you mean don't compete?
Yeah.
He's like, man, you've done, in my eyes, you've more than I ever expected you to do. This is not even baseball. This is music. Like, it started with baseball. And then it became this thing where I just used that mentality of, I got to be great. I got to hit a home run. Got to get on base with music. And so every time I fall off or the album wouldn't do well, I revert back to like, Pops, I failed. But his mentality, like, man, Jay, you good. But he didn't have the knowledge about music to understand. He's just like, man, you on. Like, you made it. I see your album being sold. Like, and I'm like, man, but I didn't get the award. I didn't get the accolade that I'm supposed to get. And so being able to have him tell me, Jay, you ain't got to compete no more. You ain't got to be angry. Man, I'm proud of you. That's all I needed. Like,
man, let's talk about this, because I was just crying about this in therapy, right? Because men, we got the weirdest dynamics with our father, because there's times that I love my pops, times that I hate him, but then the times that I hate him, I'm realizing he did the best he could with the information he had. So did you have feelings like that to your pops?
Yeah, I mean, because I realized my pops don't know what to tell me. He just be like, okay, Jay. Okay. And then that be by the 20th okay. I'm like, all right, man, I'm going to call you back, man. You ain't got no words for me right now.
But that goes back to the competitive nature, right? Because, like, as men, we're not taught to love and show people that we love and value
conquer,
them.
You go
like,
get them.
Your pops is like, nigga, go out there and get it, nigga. Go hit a home run. I don't hear all that hug shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I mean, that dynamic was passed down to him. And so that was just the best way of himself communicating. That's how he communicated his positivity, or his, like, man, we just grind. No matter what, you better just go get it. But I mean, because he's living that same life outside of seeing me play baseball. He got to wake up every day to go to a job he don't want to go to. So he looking at my life like, man, I wish I still was on that field playing. So I'm not really hearing what you're talking about because I really don't like the job I'm going to.
You know what else the difference is? Our parents' generation, our fathers, they was just trying to survive. Meaning like they was just trying to survive, keep food on the table, keep a roof over their head. We're the generation that got a chance to actually heal and deal with that trauma. Like my father told me over the holidays that he went to therapy and you know he was on 10 to 12 different medications. He tried to commit suicide. Like I didn't know all of that, but when he told me all of that, it made me look at the way we came up in a different way.
Yeah, I mean, but he probably would, if he would have told you that when you was a teenager or something like that, you probably wouldn't be able to comprehend it. Now you can comprehend therapy and stuff like that. Everybody's talking about it, but back in the day, it's like, man, you gonna go to a shrink? Like, man, you tripping, bro. You gonna go?
You
like,
crazy?
You crazy? You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm really dealing with something that's causing me to disassociate. And I'm talking to you right now, but I'm really not talking to you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like way back here. This is all just verbatim stuff I heard the other day that I'm just supposed to say.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, man. But being able to unlock those things, people walk up to me and they, you know, I'm able to have further conversations with young fathers that like, man, they help me understand maybe I shouldn't rear my child this kind of way. Maybe I should be more honest about how I'm feeling in the moment.
But I would also say this, you know, talking about, you know, parents, I'm thinking about my dad now. You think about some of the things that they've said and that they did it so the world wouldn't take you away. So the world wouldn't attack you. Like, think about it, you know, when you fall on your floor and your pops tell you, yo, get up, don't cry. You don't cry. You never let nobody see you cry. They do that because
preparing us for what's going to happen out here.
Exactly. So it's not only because they don't want you to show emotion, it's because they don't want the world to see you that way and the world to take you as weak, you know?
I mean, well, the grand scheme of things, well, you didn't got that one parent that'll tell you, well, it's okay to show your emotions sometimes, boom, 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 you got that balance. I mean, everybody ain't had that lifestyle. You normally it's just that one, man, don't be crying. You gonna get that from your dad, your mama, your grandparents, because they all been in a position where they had to work, they had to grind. Their parents probably didn't stay together either.
Wasn't no time for tears.
You know,
that's just all it really boiled down to.
You know.
Now, what do you do for self-care?
Man, I meditate. I talk it out with my friends and my family sometimes. I still go to therapy. You know what I'm saying? And I put it in my music now. Or random conversations with people. You'd be surprised how many people, the strangers in your life, will come up to you and give you some positivity. You just got to be willing to embrace it. Sometimes, I mean, in the industry, you will, you know, you're subject to people that might troll or people just want. But most of the time, somebody give me a hug, man, I feel like they mean it.
Goddamn right.
You know what I'm saying?
I say it all the time.
I'm embracing that.
You see your fellow brother, tell him you love him, you value him, you appreciate him, give him a pound, give him a hug, just because.
No doubt.
Now, with the therapy thing, too, it's interesting. When you start having those conversations, like when you start talking about going to therapy, meditating, you realize it's a whole village of people doing the same exact thing, and that gives you a different level of strength.
I mean, because, again, if you were able to and your parents were aware that would be helpful for you, then you probably went. I mean, you had counselors in school, but you didn't want to talk to them.
Man, they ain't do shit. Counselors ain't do shit.
You didn't want to talk to them because you're like, man, you know my mom and my pops. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, I'm just glad people are actually having these conversations now, and it's like an open conversation, either musically or interviews like this, you know what I'm saying? Because it's going to help somebody down the line.
There's so much of a balance, too, in music as far as how much you give, because sometimes you don't want to tell too much of your personal business, but you do have to give something so that people are relatable. So how do you ride that fence?
Man, that's hard to say. I mean, it depends on if it involves somebody else's personal space. I mean, I don't mind talking about my emotions and how I feel. I just try not to put somebody else in a position where they have to talk about it after the fact. You know, literally in this industry and with music comes, a lot of what I write about is definitely about what I went through. Drinking Sessions is exactly what I was going through at the time. I needed people to hear that just in case they saw me out on the street and I didn't feel like talking to understand why. You know, yeah, man.
Imagine that, because people do invade your space nowadays.
I mean, it comes with the territory.
Like they'll come up with their camera open.
I mean, the camera thing is different though. But back in the day, I mean, I'm watching backstage and all the documentaries because I want to be a part. I want to see what they was doing.
Right.
Like, so I think it just comes with the territory of being an artist, a musician, a creative in general. Like you want to be. I mean, it becomes a lifestyle thing now.
It's a lot different now. Before it was just an autograph. Most celebrities, you just wanted an autograph from a celebrity hanging on your wall. Now it's a picture. Now to the point, you know, people come up to you and be like, yo, I want to shoot a video. Say something on my video.
Oh, yeah. You on live right now.
But I ain't going to front. If I could have been around Pac and I had a cameraman, look, you think I ain't finna try to get a video with this man? Like, I mean, but those things weren't as accessible. I mean, weren't as accessible as they are now. Like, your camera literally is, you can make a movie with it, you know? So it's like you have all the components to really document the entire experience beyond just a photo or a signature. Because the signature, you just gonna tell your kids about it down the line. That camera, you got proof. You know, so
I still got autographs from Run DMC.
Nobody got it folded up with paper, so in a box
on the back of an envelope. I still got those.
The crazy thing about, like, what if you already dealing with anxiety? Now you got that type of social anxiety on top of it.
Man, you'd be surprised. I think most people that are in the entertainment industry they got their superhero side, which it don't matter what went on early in your day. As soon as you see somebody you know they're a supporter, you turn it on.
Yeah.
Then once they walk away or once you get to where you a personal space, you turn it off. I mean, I think that's great for building a wall up, but at the end of the day, I think it does create like a split personality to some degree, and you try to figure out whether you should meet and greet a situation or you should be personable, be yourself. And that might cause a little bit more anxiety than what we realize.
And then when you black, especially a black man, you really don't know. Yeah. Jay-Z said it back in the day, friend or foe, yo. State your biz. I don't know who's who.
Well, that's the biggest problem. When people come up to you, you just don't know what they want. What if they just want to say hello, I like you, I like what you're doing, or to the point where they don't like you, then you know what I mean?
Well, Lord forbid.
You, I know it would scare the hell out of you.
Yeah,
you never know who you giving down in the day, who you pop up with.
I mean, listen, that's a fact. I done got punched in the back of the head on camera. I done got attacked at the pharmacy. That happens.
Yeah, that causes that's a need for therapy. That's anxiety. Absolutely. That's trauma.
PTSD.
That's trauma, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to keep your head on a swivel.
That's why I appreciate J. Cole's story too that he tells on the album, because I like how he tells the story of Felicia and how she would just show up, and at first it was a little bit weird, but then he's like, okay, she really is a supporter and a fan that's been there from like the beginning, and just how she just would be there, but cool, show up in every city, but not invasive.
He gonna have a fan for life after putting her in that verse.
Oh, definitely.
She ain't going nowhere.
Man, look, it's crazy that the shows become family barbecues. Like I've been performing since 2010, touring, and I've seen 2 people be there, and then they become a couple the next tour. Then they get married the next tour.
That's nice.
Then they got a kid the next tour. So every time I see them now, I'm like, how the baby doing?
Yeah.
And they like, man, we just, we got the babysitter, we had to come out and support, and we backstage, we all talking, we drinking, like, and this becomes like family in different states, and you get accustomed and happy to see these people's faces, because you've grown with them, not only like sonically but emotionally. Because they like, man, I remember boom, 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 and you did that, and like, man, now you on your jump out in the crowd because we all clean now. We wearing our Sunday best, so we appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
You know that's how Law and Jess met, right?
Oh,
Dr. Jess Law
at a concert.
They met at a Nipsey Hussle show, and he said he knew he wanted Jess because he saw Jess quoting all Nipsey Hussle's lyrics.
Really? You know what I'm
like
saying?
in 2012. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now, what do your peers like Cole say to you? Because they've achieved this massive success. What do they say to you to offer help?
I mean, well, if you go back, there's some footage around 2012 Cole did, telling people that Live from the Underground was coming out, and all those things. And I remember being on a tour bus, and I played it out for Cole, and he was like, look, man, you killing it because you produced the whole album. But he was like, I'm going to tell you something, you definitely want to get in with other producers on the next one. I start working with other producers, being around other producers, because it's going to elevate your sound. And even if you don't produce it, they're going to give you something you wouldn't have made for yourself.
He took his own advice.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But me, I'm like, man, I feel you, bro, but I be jamming. Like, I'm doing all mine. Cool. Nah, you know what I'm saying? Over time, it's like you can get caught up in this box with that drum pattern. The musicality is going to always be the same. People are like, man, I can't wait for you to work with other people. I did Catalactica, and then upon doing this album, I was like, I get what he's talking about now. Because I'm in the studio, and the pressure of making the beat is just not on my shoulders. And all the producers want to play the most jamming stuff they got. And now I get to just be free creatively to write. And now I'm more productive. There's more songs to choose from. And my team is like, see, that fits better here. Now we can go get this feature. Right. I'm not locked in like, nah, this is mine. I'm going to feature who I want on it. Nah, it's a collective effort. And that comes with working with other producers, other artists. Like, and then with the Cole, is like, he saw the how things changed once I was just content. I'm like, man, I'm a country boy. I'm gonna bring you to the side. Boom, boom, boom. I wasn't interested in whether you had been there or not. And if you hadn't been there, I was like kind of angry at you. Like, how you ain't gonna be with Mississippi? You never been there. You don't know nothing about me. When Cole was like, man, he gonna bring you to Carolina, but it don't really matter because he be in New York too. So he be mingling with everybody, and his music sounded bigger. And it just took me a little longer. You know what I'm saying? I took the road less travel with mine, but I had to see where all them roads would take you.
Gotcha.
I had to sign with a label and go through all that in order to be an independent artist now and have more time my own brand. So when I sign an artist, they ain't gonna go through what I went through. They ain't got to. You know what I'm saying? We got our machine now, and we know how things move.
So if I was to ask you, why has it been such a fight for you to gain that respect, you would say it's your fault.
I would say to some degree musically, but then you got geography lottery that plays a part. I mean, I knew about Compton before I ever went to California. Via movies. I was terrified of New York growing up. Law and Order SVU? Cuz. I'm watching this and I'm like, man, Law and Order SVU.
When you think Mississippi, you think Mississippi burning.
Man, exactly. And then everybody like, hell no, cuz we not, you know, and then the population thing too, man. Like, you could fit everybody in my city in Phipps Arena, you know what I'm saying, in Atlanta. Like, that's, when you talk about trying to sell an album based off of where you from, the numbers are never going to match up if you're from Manhattan. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're from New York and you got Manhattan, or you from Atlanta, you know, the whole surrounding area is just so many pockets and so millions of people to actually promote your music to. So for me, it was going to be that music in the trunk, go from Mississippi to Alabama to Atlanta, have to fly to New York, then go to L.A., you know, and that's why I made that song, Miss Georgia for you. It's almost me telling Mississippi, I'm sorry, but I got to leave in order to make this pop.
Gotcha.
Because you got the song, I've Been Waiting.
Yeah.
And you say you waiting on your turn. So I'm like, what would that turn feel like to you? Because you're a successful brother.
The turn feel like now.
Yeah, okay.
Because I know I'm in this arena. I know when it comes to lyrical subject matter, when it comes to production, that people didn't even realize I was making to I did the roulette thing, you know, with Mass Appeal. It's almost like now they know. And then when it comes to actually getting on these records and kicking cadences different than everybody else, the similes and all that stuff, man, I got it. Like, I'm not tripping on none of that.
Was you signed to a major label again, or are you?
No, they can only partner with me and my company.
I'm just
they
wondering.
They gotta know, buddy.
Not even if it was a great situation.
They gotta partner with my company.
Okay, a partnership.
That's it. With Multi, they can never have me. Nope.
Sorry,
Master.
Sorry, Master.
Sorry. You know what I'm saying? Can't go back to Plantation Records.
No. Where do you have your XXL freshman cover at?
Man, that might be one of the ones.
That is one of the ones. Yeah, when you go back and look on it, you like,
it's amazing, man. Been in R.I.P. Mac, you know what I'm saying? Because he was on that.
Mac Miller, Meek Mill, Kendrick, YG. Who else was on there?
Saha.
Lil B.
Lil B on that. Who else? Yellow on that. Yellow Wolf. Diggy Simmons on that. Who else? Dang, the homie from Cash Money. Young cat. Can't remember that.
I don't remember. Yeah. But when you look back on that cover, what do you think now?
Man, everybody set out to do their own creative thing after they either was with a label or after they dropped their first album. You saw a real transition where they all found themselves, right? Obviously, some people decide to stay independent, but I think on a lyrical level, that is one of the strongest lyrical covers that you're going to see.
Absolutely.
Like, straight up. Like,
you don't got that blown up in the house?
Nah, I don't got that blown up in the house, though, man. I need to get that, though. Like, can you get me one of those?
That's a
Lil Twist. He's on
Lil Twist. My bad, man.
Fred the Godson was on there, too.
Fred the Godson.
Fred still get busy.
Yeah.
Lil Twist was a favor from somebody, I'm sure.
Stop it, man.
Let that man live on that cover, man.
Now, you got a record, Learn from Texas.
Yes.
Why did you pay homage to Texas in that way?
Man, I mean, being from Mississippi, to learn about UGK, and they were from Port Arthur. And Port Arthur is pretty much like the same size as Meridian, Mississippi. And then to see what they were able to do in unapologetically country, it made me feel the same way. You know what I'm saying? And that passion and that confidence. And then you talking about Screw when that hit. And we talking about Slim Thug, Paul Wall, Chameleon, Botany Boys, 50-50 Twin, Beltway 8. You talking about Ghetto Boys, man. It's so many artists that I grew up listening to. Tom Tom, Big Tuck, you know, Southside the Realest, like, I was jamming that, and then Mike Jones then was coming to our city and killing it, you know what I'm saying? So Texas was like a huge thing for me growing up in the swing of that music. And they were going platinum. And that was another thing, like, oh man, I could just go platinum in the South. And so for me, it's kind of like just paying an adieu to Texas as a whole. And Lil Kiki, you know what I'm saying? Southside, I can't forget that. Yeah.
Does Big
Mo, all them, Fat Pat, I'm sorry.
He's like, I got to name everybody.
Yeah, I'm bad. I'm trying to, I got him.
You learn more from Texas than Georgia?
Man, it's kind of go hand in hand. I think it go hand in hand. I would say sonically, I would say more from Texas.
Okay.
Yeah, more from Texas, especially when I, to realize that Pimp C made all his beats in the beginning. Shout out to Corey Mo as well.
Shout out to Corey Mo.
And singing on these records, and I learned a lot from them, and even how to be aggressive, but not even on an aggressive record. Like how life isn't really a aggressive record, but even the way they were rapping, how passionate they was. Yeah, I learned a lot from them, man.
Does Big KRIT have to have J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar level of success to feel good about himself, his career?
No, but I think it's my brand and what I do and the support. People know that I belong there, and so I be damn, I'm gonna get there, lead that day. And I don't either it's gonna be me or it's gonna be an artist that I put out. it's going to either I'm behind just scoring movies or something, but musically I'm going to be there. But it's going to, the way I view my success is going to be in my own way anyway. It might not be the Grammy or the awards. It might not be people just taking photos and stuff, but it's going to be in a way where I'm like, yeah, that's me.
Because I think about somebody like Nipsey, and he didn't know he was having the impact he was having, but when he passed, you see it. You see how much he meant to people, you know? So you think that you're having that same impact with your music?
I mean, Lord willing, but my rap name is Can't Remember the Time, so technically I'm not supposed to be here to see what my impact is anyway. I'm supposed to always be trying to do more, get to a certain point, but I'm not going to be able to see it because it's a gradual thing always.
This could be a Grammy-nominated album. Did you think about that when you made it?
No, I was just like, man, I'm trying to make the dopest, jammingest music I possibly could. That's why it's 15 songs on that thing that's new, on top of the 2 records that was already out, which is Energy and Learn from Texas. But it was like this is like, again, another hurrah. Like, all right, man, I know people know I can rap, but, man, I'm going to just go all in with this many records, this many different sounds, these features that people don't expect from me.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you submit it for Grammys though? Did you submit it? Because now you know.
I mean,
they usually do it. Now you and your
so people that's yes, but that was yes, but my team, you know what I'm saying? That's a part of the team, you know what I'm saying?
That's their job.
Of course, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
We can appreciate that there's 15, like you said, 17 really full songs because a lot of people are putting out albums and they're so short. Even songs. Yeah. I was talking about that earlier today, how some songs are like less than
2 minutes and 5 seconds. You gonna get there, yeah.
Which is crazy to me. But
you got that sneaky Chico Bean and Carlos Miller.
Man, shout out to the homies.
85 South Show.
They really set the tone for me to say high-end country shit, believe it or not. Because the last, like really the way they start talking at the end of Mississippi, which is an acronym, I know you heard that. Maybe I'm so Southern I sometimes get ignorant people's perception of independence.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so, yeah. It's okay. It's okay. It does. I do it now. It happens.
I get it now. Okay.
It happens. But nah, like the way they started talking, it was just so prestigious. You know what I'm saying? But it was still country. And I was like, yeah, this is what we gonna do.
High-end country
High-end
shit.
country. That's why you can have a Blue Flame ballet. You can have a ballet in a strip club. Why not? You know, they still doing their thing. Yeah.
Let's play a KRIT record, man.
Guys, say what I'm saying. Introduce the record, man. What you want to hear, Chris?
Hey, man,
what you want? No, I think we should go with Addiction.
That's
what I was going to say.
Addiction.
Yeah, because it's a time and place for everything. We on the radio.
I have to do like the traditional drop and introduce yourself?
And get your addiction challenge going too.
Okay, hey, what's happening? It's your country cousin, Big KRIT, third co representative. Check out my new single, Addiction, featuring Lil Wayne and Sweetie, and get your addiction challenge on. You feel me? Hey.
And KRIT, we appreciate you for joining us this morning.
I have one more question I wanted to ask.
They all redoing the verses.
Yeah.
It's going on.
Got you.
One last question I wanted to ask you about Jermaine Dupri's comments about women rappers and how they all are like strippers rapping. What did you think about what he said about women rappers?
That's interesting. I mean, I'd have been in the studio with Rhapsody looking at my bars like, you ain't fucking kill me on this record. So rap been smashing. Obviously, you got Tierra Whack that's been killing. And then I think about music in general, like, me as a hip-hop artist, I've made strip club records, I've made aggressive songs, I've made songs about cars. The freedom of being able to write a song is about whatever you want to write about. So I can't really judge somebody because this song might pop off. If you didn't listen to the entire album, you might miss the social commentary of the album. You might miss the part where they talking about their parents or their friends or the struggles. Like, you can't really base off of the single. I think you definitely got to hear the album, but you know, people like to have fun. People like to party. The club is the club. You go to the club to hear a certain kind of vibe. When you ride into the club, you hearing a certain kind of vibe. So it's just music, man. I know these women snapping because Megan Thee Stallion key on the record, Cardi B key on the record. If you like it, you gotta be in the studio just willing to go hard now.
I think Rhapsody is the best rapper alive.
Hey,
forget gender.
Let's go.
I'm talking about this new, like this new class.
I mean, look, man, I'm telling you, I get in the studio with her, we are going toe to toe.
Yeah.
Because rap will body you. And then just hug you and be so happy and nice.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like, I don't know if that makes it worse because it's just like, man, you just killed me.
She killed you and then picked you up.
Yeah, like, you know what? Next time, maybe. Like,
I think it's a class. I think Kendrick and Rhapsody is in a class. Yeah. I think like you and Cole is in a class. But I think Rhapsody is the best rapper alive, not named Kendrick Lamar.
Let's go.
I'm talking about the new people. I ain't talking about the OGs.
Nah, man, I'm with you. I'm with you with it. I'm with you with it. Hey, rap, man, what's up, man? Put me on the record.
KRIT is here. The album is out right now. Pick it up, and we appreciate you for joining us,
man. Thank y'all, man. I appreciate it, man.
It's Big KRIT. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Rhapsody.